Hello, my name is Thomas Morrill. This is going to be my Prototype 2 presentation, where I recreated procedural dungeon generation similar to that of Wizard of Legend. And so, how they do it in their game. Um, so the dungeons are randomly generated. Each map features one boss room, one relic shop, one arcana shop, and then one of six different miscellaneous shops, which are the red ones, and then one start room as well. So normal rooms, they have enemy encounters, they have potential loot, and they also have traps. And so this is kind of how the map layout looks in these games. Um, this one down here has multiple of each, like uh, Arcana and Relic shop, but that's not normal. Normally there's only one of each. And so here's like some quick screenshots of mine, some differences that I had. I wanted more rooms, but I ran out of time, and I will add more later. So there's only like 5 or 6 different variety of rooms, including boss rooms and start rooms. Um, Mine does not have traps yet. That's something I'll get to at a later point. Um, I'm not exactly sure how Wizard of Legend did theirs, but all of my rooms are connected via doors, and so anything basically on the map is considered a room and is part of the room actor class. And so there's not much art or props in the scene compared to that of Wizard of Legend. They have like props and other things laying around the map, but I just don't have that at this moment. And then in mine, I have different floors, as in there's like multi-level, compared to like the 2D version of Wizard of Legend. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into the demo. Uh, all right, so I'll first show kind of how this looks. So you can give the dungeon any seed you want. So let's just say, let's make the seed 12. It'll then generate the dungeon. And so I'll go outside of the dungeon so we can see this. So here's the dungeon. It pulls from a data table, which is very convenient. So if I go to, sorry, it's in rooms. If I pull out the level 1, that's where the first level is from. It has all this data stuff. So it has each room, its reference, the max of that room, the minimum of that room, and then how many is the current quantity. That's just part of the structure. It doesn't really matter to the data table. And so we start in the start room. So if I go back, here's the start room. This is an upper level room, so it has an upper level. We can keep moving through these rooms. I will say, as of right now, the rooms can get, it's like the same 3 rooms in a row. The rooms can get very confusing, so I will probably implement a map at a later point. But then here's the boss room. And so let me tab back out and we can look around this dungeon a little quicker. So then there's these little cubes would be loot spawns that are spawning. These guys are enemies in the dungeon. Those are just blocked off walls that you can't go through. And yeah, and so once you find the portal, it'll take you to the next floor, which the walls are a slight different color. But anyways, it pulls from another data table, which is DT level 2. And you can continue to customize the dungeons as the player goes along. This one is, the portal's literally right there, which is pretty crazy. But I don't have it set up for any further floors. And so how this works, it's all in the dungeon generator blueprint right here. So if we go out to our event graph, I'll go through this very quickly. So we pull the data table, so that would be DT level 1, and add that to the room data. And then we also get the seed, so the seed stream. If you don't have a seed input into that text box, it will basically grab a random one. If you do, then it'll get a random stream out of that and then make that the seed stream. And so to make sure that, so each level of the dungeon, if we did not change the seed stream, each level of the dungeon would generate the exact same. So what we have to do is we have to pull a new seed stream using using the previous seed stream. And so that'll make sure that it's the same, like level 1, level 2, level 3 is going to be the same every time, for the seed of 12, for example. Like the layout's not going to be the same, but every time you do a run with the seed 12, the layout of each floor will be the same essentially. And so it goes through this. That pulls that. This is begins the construction of the rooms. So that spawns the start room. Everything starts from the start room, and then it adds it to the rooms. Um, and then it does pass one, which pass one goes through. And where is it? Pass one. It goes through, gets the total doors. So that's all the open doors. All the rooms are connected via a door. I'll show you what a room looks like. So let's pull out junction. So junction is this fun little room. And here's one of the door actors. Every room is connected via a door actor. Door actors always have to point inwards to match up. And so the rooms continue to generate. It generates here and generate room, where it shuffles the room data to pull out a random room. And then it'll make sure that the quantity of that room is less than the maximum of that room. If it's not, then it'll pull a different one. And then it'll set that room to spawn. It'll spawn the room. And then this just checks, make sure there are extra open doors just in case. If that's not the case, it'll destroy it and try again. It'll go through, shuffle the doors in the room, try and match the doors, match all the different doors. And then it'll go through all the rotations as well to make sure those doors can line up. And so it'll check the overlaps. And so that's basically checking if that room overlaps another room. Then it won't place it because it's an overlap. And so we don't want rooms to overlap each other because that would mess up the dungeon generation. And if that is the case, it'll set them as matched. And then it'll keep that room there, basically. That is the very quick and simplified version of how this works for the sake of the video. So yeah, that is how the dungeons are generated. It can generate up to 200 rooms. It gets a little choppy. I'll explain more in the presentation. And so what went well with this, the coding actual dungeon generation didn't take very long, although I did run into some errors along the process. So what else went well is that dungeons have set seeds, allowing for players to replay the same dungeon. Rooms are easy to build upon, so I just take any one of those like 5 rooms that I already have, and I can just basically add doors to it, or pull off a child, add doors to it, do whatever, and it can be a room. And it conveniently pulls from a data table. It can generate 200 plus rooms. I don't know why anyone would ever do this. And then what went wrong? Not much. Dungeon generation can cause infinite loops sometimes with large amounts of rooms. So like for example, 200 plus can cause infinite loops. And then code could likely be optimized further. I would love to go more into the code, but for the sake of the time of this video, I won't. And then pure functions can be very useful. This is what I learned. Pure functions can be very useful. Adding tick delays in the generation at key points can help reduce processes per frame, which helps reduce the chance of running into those infinite loops. And then having particle actors, especially in areas where there will be lots of them, can be very taxing. And then having streams are very cool. That allows for the randomized dungeon seeds, allowing for dungeons to have the possibility of being the same. And then you can track the seeds and then do fastest time per seeds and everything in the future. And then this is also going to be something that can be very easily expanded upon. Like for example, I added this to my previous prototype, and I'm hoping to make a game out of those two and hopefully prototype 3. So thank you very much.